Apple has officially released tvOS 26, and it is now rolling out to Apple TV devices. For many people, this update might look like just another small version upgrade. But when you go through the changes carefully, you realize Apple has done more than just bug fixes. tvOS 26 brings new features, improved designs, and smarter ways to enjoy entertainment at home. In this first part of our deep dive, we'll explore everything from the new lock screen and profile system to karaoke mode, app updates, wallpapers, and even audio improvements. Let's break it all down in simple words so you can get the full picture. We start with one of the most noticeable changes, the new lock page. This is no longer just a plain welcome screen. Apple has given it more power and personalization. Now, when you start up your Apple TV, you can directly select from the different profiles linked to the device. Think of it like getting into a modern car where each driver has a saved setup. The seat, the mirrors, even the radio stations adjust depending on who is driving. In a similar way, Apple TV now adapts to each user. If you have a family with multiple people using the same Apple TV, this becomes very useful. Each person can have their own profile with their own apps, settings, and preferences. Setting up an additional profile is also quite smooth. All you need is another Apple device nearby, such as an iPhone. With that, the Apple TV can wirelessly sync and bring in all the needed details. You don't have to manually add everything again. This is Apple's way of keeping the ecosystem tightly connected. The process feels natural, quick, and smart. Once profiles are set up, they are not just simple accounts. They carry extra features. For example, you can enable photos and have access to personal media collections linked to that profile. You can also enable one home screen, which means whenever you move apps around on Apple TV, the same arrangement appears across your other devices signed into that account. This makes the experience consistent whether you are using an iPad, an iPhone, or another Apple TV in a different room. Purchases and app downloads also sync across profiles, so there's no need to rebuy or reinstall the same apps multiple times. Another small but important feature linked to profiles is Siri voice recognition. When Siri is activated, it can now recognize who is speaking and perform tasks based on that profile. For example, sending a message through Siri will be tied to the correct account. This brings a level of personalization that feels futuristic but also practical. The new design also brings in a fresh look. Apple added what they call the liquid glass bar at the bottom of the lock screen. This is a semi-transparent effect that looks modern and elegant. It is not available on all Apple TVs, though. It's mostly for 4K supported models. Older models will continue to show the traditional gray bar. But if you do have a compatible model, the liquid glass design is quite stunning, giving a sense of depth and polish to the overall interface. Once you move into the control center, the liquid glass style continues. This transparency effect blends with the background and gives a more premium visual. You can quickly switch between profiles from here, making it easy to jump between different users. Small tweaks like this may seem minor, but they add up to create a more fluid and refined experience. Next, Apple has introduced a brand new app on tvOS 26, Karaoke with Apple Music Sing. This is designed for those fun family nights or parties where you just want to sing along to your favorite songs. The app is basically a shortcut that takes you into the Apple Music Sing feature directly from the home screen. Once inside, you can browse songs, select categories like pop, and start singing. The only requirement is that you must have an Apple Music subscription. The fun part is how easy it is to connect your iPhone as a microphone. Simply scan the QR code shown on your TV screen, and your phone becomes the mic. You can do an audio check, start singing, and even allow multiple people to join by scanning the same code. Emoji reactions appear on screen, showing who is reacting and what they're sending. It makes the experience interactive, not just for the singer but for the audience too. You can also add songs to a queue, enabling a true karaoke session where people take turns. And when you're done, disconnecting is as simple as dropping the mic. This karaoke feature may not sound groundbreaking, but it is a very clever move. Apple is using its music subscription service and turning it into something more social. Instead of just listening to music, you can now enjoy it as an activity. It makes the Apple TV a more central part of family entertainment. Moving on, the Apple TV app itself has received updates. At first glance, it may look like a small change, but design tweaks can really change how content feels. The thumbnails for shows and movies now use a proper poster-style layout. This gives everything a cinematic look, similar to browsing through a physical collection of movie posters. Sports content remains in a different style, but the rest follows the poster theme. While watching content, the updated design continues. The new liquid glass effect is applied to the playback bar and chapter sections. Everything looks consistent, polished, and unified. Third-party apps will also be able to take advantage of these changes, so over time the whole platform will feel refreshed. Now let's talk about wallpapers and screensavers. Unfortunately, tvOS 26 does not add many brand new wallpapers. The existing Snoopy screensavers are still there, and some might have slight new animations. But the major new change here is with the Arial screensavers. For the first time, you can now choose which Arial themes you want to see and hide the ones you don't like. Before, it was random and you had no control. Now you can filter them, preview them, and select only your favorites. This makes the screensaver experience more personal and less repetitive. Another small detail: when a screensaver is playing, you can now tap the center of your remote, and the time will appear on screen. It may sound like a tiny detail, but it's these little touches that make the experience smoother. If you've ever wanted to quickly check the time without leaving a screensaver, this addition feels very natural. One more important improvement comes in the audio settings. Apple has added the ability to set a default AirPlay audio source. In earlier versions, even if you connected your Apple TV to a speaker system like Sonos, it would reset back to HDMI after turning off the device. With tvOS 26, that frustration is gone. You can now set your AirPlay speakers as the permanent default. This small change makes a big difference for anyone who uses external audio systems. It's about convenience and reducing unnecessary steps. Taken together, these features might not seem revolutionary individually. But when you put them side by side, you see a clear picture. Apple is refining the Apple TV experience to be more personal, more fun, and more seamless. Profiles add personalization. Karaoke adds social interaction. Design updates add polish. Screensaver controls add choice. And audio settings add convenience. This is the first half of our detailed look at tvOS 26. In the second section, we'll dive deeper into more changes, improvements, and hidden details that make this update stand out. But for now, it's clear that Apple is not letting the Apple TV sit idle. Even if it's not the most talked about product in their lineup, tvOS 26 shows that Apple wants to keep it relevant, modern, and enjoyable.